Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.
Excellent. We are Social Blade. And we have a special report, don't we, Ergo?
We do. This the special Digg edition, new Digg edition, if you will, of the Social Blade show.
I thought you were going to play the music first.
I told you I don't have that.
Oh, I thought you were kidding.
No, it was Jeff that played that.
That was me who played it.
Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. Welcome everyone to this embarrassed edition of the Social Blade Show. Today we have a very special show. We'd like to call it breaking news, but in this case, I think we might want to call it broken news. Broken as in Digg version 4.0. A lot of complaints, a lot of news coming around the blogosphere and across the interwebs as Digg users, big and small, tall and short, skinny and not so skinny, are voicing their concerns over what has been a relatively rocky launch to the new Digg version 4.
Just give
for those who don't know,
yeah,
go ahead.
Just give us a quick introduction. What is Digg, and what exactly did they do here, JD?
Oh, excellent. That's exactly what I was going to do.
Go for it. Sorry.
And there's your answer as well. What is Digg?
Exactly.
Big day today for Digg.
It's big day today for Digg. Yeah, you just check the front page. Apparently, you get lots of news from a couple of days ago about how the new Digg was supposed to launch tomorrow, which was actually yesterday. No, so Digg.com is a social news site. It's pretty much the social news site considered by many. There's Reddit, there's StumbleUpon, there's Propeller, there's Mix, there's several out there that are considered social news sites. But Digg is kind of the big one, the one that is most coveted, the one that gets the most attention, the most press, and has the most the largest user base for now. Digg.com, and when I say social news, I'm referring specifically to the idea that people go to Digg.com, they can submit stories, they can vote for stories, and these stories can, if they receive enough votes, they get promoted to what used to be called the front page, what is now called the news page or the top stories page. It is also the new variation of Digg kind of changes that a bit. Digg version 4.0 makes it to where if you're logged in, your home page is actually a personalized page that is fed.
Bullshit.
That's something we'll be discussing. Careful. PG-13 show. It's a show that will a site that will demonstrate basically what the people who you're following, what they are digging themselves. And this is a dramatic and drastic change from the old Digg, which the old Digg you were presented when you go to Digg.com. You were presented with a homepage that was the most popular stories of any particular given moment. You were able to have friends, but not necessarily see everything that they dug, unless you wanted to. You could actually go to just what they submitted. So in essence, you were able to utilize this friendship in many ways. You could use it as a way to basically to vet content, a way to have a gatekeeper, so to speak. If you were to follow, say, a louiebaur, and you liked his submissions, he's submitting 2 or 3 stories a day, you would be able to track that and see what is Louis submitting that day. And there was a lot of people that did that, thus him having well over 1,000 stories that hit the front page, being the number 5 or number 6 Digg user of all time. Now, if Louis submits a story, you have no way to see what he submits. If he digs 30 stories, you can see all of those, but it's completely different. Long story short, Digg has gone to much more of a publisher RSS-based format. Their goal is to highlight and promote sites such as Mashable, such as CNN, such as Ars Technica, excuse me, The Onion, Telegraph, BBC, some of the big players in mainstream media, as well as to highlight celebrities such as Tony Hawk, Leo Laporte, people like that. Basically, a lot of people are calling it Twitter early 2009. Twitter early 2009. Twitter early 2000.
Hello.
I think we have received an Andrew. And Andrew Sorsini has joined the room. And as a result, he was reverberating me throughout for everybody to hear on multiple occasions.
It's kind of like
Twitter.
JD, it's kind of like the new Digg, right?
Twitter,
the old news
2009.
the old news keeps popping
Twitter,
up over and over again.
2009.
In case you didn't hear that.
Your entrance was perfectly timed, Andrew Sorsini, also known as MrBabyMan. Between MrBabyMan, Andrew Sorsini, and Louie Bauer combined, they have about 6,000 front page stories or some crazy weird number like that. So yes, so that's impressive. They are considered amongst the elites, the power users, the old guard, so to speak, those who have spent time, effort, and energy into establishing both themselves as well as Digg.com as a source of tremendous high-quality content, regardless of the publisher itself. That's no longer the case at this point. Andrew Sorsini, with 20,000 people following him, is for the most part, for all intents and purposes, and forgive me for saying this, Andy, I hope that this is only said in this context one time, but it's making Andy impotent in a way, and
more impotent, I think.
He is impotenter. So that is the background. I tried to whiz through that as quickly as possible. And that is why we're all here. We encourage questions. We encourage interaction. This is not your standard we talk, you listen show. The whole reason that we called this very late in the day when we decided to do it was specifically because there's just seems to be a lot of crazy, silly things happening. If you are on socialblade.com/show currently, you'll see over to the left of the video, you'll see a story called "The Real Problems with Digg Have Yet to Surface," and you'll notice there an image. This is a case in point. This is a story. This is a tweet actually from Kevin Rose that was submitted to Digg a couple days ago called "New Digg Launching Tomorrow." Now keep in mind the New Digg launched yesterday, but the story hit the front page about an hour and a half ago. That's going to happen. And you know what? Here's the thing. Before I go, just start ripping on things.
You know what that's
it's
called?
Going to happen
on the new Digg. That's called news.
That's called news. Exactly. If you go to digg.com/news, you'll find this out. But hey, before we start ripping on that, keep in mind there's always going to be, during a transition, there is always going to be a certain degree of there's going to be bumps in the road. Obviously, there's going to be normalization. Is that the right word, Ergo?
Yes.
Digg needs to normalize, and because there was because of the change was so drastic, a lot of the stories that were submitted 2 days ago are hitting the threshold today to hit the front page. Apparently, the way that from what we've been able to gather so far, the threshold is still at 48 hours, and much more so. Before, it was pretty much 24 hours was your initial threshold. Then your chances dropped tenfold, but you still had a chance of hitting within the first 48 hours, even if you went past 24. That seems to be not necessarily the case anymore, at least during this normalization period. During this normalization period, so far there have only been 2 stories that have been submitted after the new Digg was launched yesterday morning. And both of those stories, one from Read Write Web and one from Mashable, were actually stories about the new Digg launching. So that's not really fair. Otherwise, every single story that has hit the top news section, I keep wanting to call it the front page, which it still is. If you're not unauthenticated, if you're not logged in and you go to digg.com, it'll take you to digg.com/news. So you'll still be able to see what's happening. Very similar to the way it was before. It's just when you're logged in, that's when you go to the My News page. But more on that later. So during this normalization, yes, there's going to be a certain level of antiquity, of carryover from the old Digg, and this is very apparent based upon the fact that there's been 4 or 5 stories that had actually hit on the old Digg, and then hit again on the new Digg. Very clearly, they completely scrapped the old Digg altogether. It does not exist, and it had no bearing on the new Digg. A couple of other instances where this was the case, you can see that are basically more evidence of this. Splice Today, good friend of ours, Blinker 1315, runs a wonderful site, and that site has been submitted literally about 600 times since the last time it hit the front page in 2008. Unsuccessfully. It would get 100 digs, 200 digs, sometimes 300 digs, and never, ever, ever, ever hit the front page in 2 years. In the last 24 hours, it has hit twice. So very clearly, Kevin had initially said when he first became the CEO, he had said that one of the things we're definitely going to be changing is that on the new Digg, basically everybody gets a clean slate. Doesn't matter if you've been banned. Not everybody's in people, but everybody's in sites. Websites that have been banned in the past, that have been blocked, that have been auto-buried, or whatever you want to call it, as in the case with Splice Today, you get a fresh start starting with the brand new Digg, and that's the case. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter if you're Playboy, if you're Skinbot or whatever that site was, Fleshbot. Fleshbot has an account. Anything can be submitted at this point to the new Digg, and that's fine. You know, that part I actually, you know, I'm cool with. You know, let's filter it going forward, and that's great. One more thing that should be noted before everybody hops in and says, you know, oh my gosh, this Digg has been such a huge failure. It's been so bad. This is so awful. Keep in mind, as Kevin Rose has pointed out, Digg traffic is up 20% since the new Digg has launched.
Well.
So there is a certain level of success that can be definitely gleaned from this.
Well,
but that's just because it's new.
Exactly. That's just everyone checking it out.
Drop off is the question.
That's going to drop off.
Yeah, well, and we'll see. Hopefully, you know, the goal here is that it doesn't. I want to state just for the record that I personally, JD Rucker, am a big supporter of the new Digg in concept. Okay, Digg needed a change, not because I didn't like the old Digg, but because I didn't like the old Digg business model. I did not think that Digg, a site that I've loved since 2007, I did not think that it would survive very much longer based upon their level of degradation and the burn rate that they were going through. They weren't making money. Here's a site that was valued at $200 million theoretically back in 06, 07, and I mean they're scratching their way to try to get back to that. You know, at the time they were laughing and balking at that. Now they would love to have that number thrown out with their name. The problem is that it's social news between AdBlock Plus, between the use of Firefox, the use of Macintosh, the sheer tech savviness of the site. It is a very difficult site through which to make money. You know, the traffic level that Digg receives on a daily basis, if you were to translate that over to a different kind of site, it would be making probably 10 times as much. The problem is that Digg does not make that much money relative to its traffic because of the site it is, and that's what prompted this change. I mean, no, this is not official, this is my opinion, but I mean, something had to change. They could not continue the way they were. So in theory, a change at Digg, very similar to what they've done, is, in my opinion, something that was necessary and something that will help the site to evolve and grow to the next level. I'm not one who is a proponent of bring back old Digg, bring back old Digg. With that said, I am definitely a proponent of bring back certain components of old Digg that made it great. Bring back certain components of old Digg that made it great. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to have the show. But I've already been talking for 20 minutes, so I'm going to stop right there and open it up to some other just opening thoughts real quick before we start getting into questions and discussing specific needs and specific challenges that have been happening at Digg.com. Let's start with Louie. Louie, you hopped on first. What are your first thoughts? You've been 2 days in. What are you thinking?
I have no clue what I'm doing.
And that seems to be, that seems to be the consensus. In a lot of cases, I've been getting IMs left and right. What do you think of the new Digg? Do you get it? What's going on? Why is it that yesterday I could submit a story and get 200 digs, and today I submit a story and I got 18 digs? You know, what's going on here? So yeah.
And they're looking to you for answers, like you know.
I know.
Because,
it's like,
because I have a hunch Digg doesn't know.
Well, that kind of coincides with what AmyVernon says in the chat. I think Digg is getting so much traffic because everyone's coming to see why everyone's tweeting about how much or how it sucks so badly. So maybe that's why
any press is better than no press, I guess, or bad press is better than no press.
Well, and you also have the promotion aspect of it. If you go to Mashable.com, if you go to I noticed one today on TechCrunch, banned in Hollywood. This is the goal. This is where Digg. This is what Digg wants. Digg wants, you know, for years, Digg has been the place where people go. If you want to get traffic, and you want to get traffic to your site or to your blog or to your whatever, then you go to Digg.com, and this is a good place to launch. It's a good way to get the attention of people, because there's a chance that you can get 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 different people to visit your site in a very short period of time by hitting the Digg front page. But then the question came up, well, we've got all this traffic. We're not making any money. By golly. Kevin, Jay Adelson, the former CEO of Digg. Jay, guys, what do we do? How do we turn this around? When are they going to give back to us? And that's when the concept came, very similar to Twitter. If you appeal to the the mainstream media sites, such as the CNNs, such as the big blogs like Mashable and TechCrunch, such as you've got Ars Technica, you've got all these various awesome sites out there, BBC, that already get tremendous traffic. We're sending a bunch of traffic to them. Why don't we get them to send traffic to us? What if we're able to get that same type of mainstream adoption that Twitter was able to achieve in early 2000 in late 2007? I'm sorry, late 2008, early 2009, when they started hitting that tipping point and people started putting Twitter buttons on their site, and not just Digg buttons. People are putting Digg buttons. We're talking about full-fledged banners. Turn off your AdBlock Plus because I know you've got it. Go to open up Internet Explorer if you still have it, or whatever it takes to go to Mashable, and you're going to see that their primary advertisement above their money-making advertisement, above everything, is a banner saying, follow us on Digg. This is the kind of stuff that Digg wants. Digg is looking for an integration with sites, not just throw a Digg button on there. We don't just want people to dig the story. We want you to advertise us in a way that makes it strong. And how do you do that? You entice people. How do you entice people? By making them the power users. So theoretically speaking, just from a straight up business perspective, this is a brilliant move. My problem, again, and I'll get into this more later, is with the execution and the minor, in my opinion, minor and some major, but minor flaws that can spell doom for Digg if they do not make a change in a relatively quick manner. That's all there is to it. Hey, Amp Rather, Mark Frost, AmyVernon, everybody else. Okay, Andy Sorsini, MrBabyMan.
Mm-hmm.
You're locked in time at about 4,500 front pages, and you'll never get another front page story again, technically speaking.
Wait. Can I interrupt real quick?
Yes, please.
Since we're lacking the Digg, the internal communication through Digg, I was thinking if I could take this opportunity to ask Andy for a Digg. That'd be okay if I did it on the show?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
In the chat room, Jordan117, there are so many little flaws. Death by a thousand cuts. That's so true. And that also brings up a point. I didn't mean to cut you off, Andy, but it brings up a point. Louis says in jest, can I get a dig from you while you're here? They eliminated shouts. They've never gave us a forum. They took away the IMs. I mean, you have to manually re-input an IM. You can no longer put in your IMs to contact people. Basically, they've created a social network where you have to socialize.
No social.
Yeah. You have to social. Well, you could socialize. You just have to use the force. There's no way to actually find people or communicate with them. You just have to kind of know.
Okay, Amy has a good point. So now it's Andy's turn. Oh, it's your show. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Andy. No, she makes a good point. You're absolutely right. We were talking about doing the show last night. Here I go again. We were talking about doing the show last night, and Ergo says, well, we could talk about it as a regular story. We could take 10 minutes. I'm like, dude, I could talk about Digg by myself nonstop without even breathing for 2 hours. For 2 hours. 2 hours, Amy. I'm going to call you after the show, and I'm going to talk your ear off for 2 hours. Andy, go ahead before I embarrass myself.
Was there a question?
Yes, there was.
What are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts?
Oh, on the new Digg? Well, it appears that they've essentially, effectively, completely removed user content curation whatsoever.
Yes.
Content is no longer being curated by the users on Digg at all. It can be voted upon. The content can be voted upon once it shows up in a thread, but it can no longer be initialized by users. It's initialized for the most part by publications, by RSS feeds for the most part.
Sure.
There's still there still is individual submission, but I'm finding today, I found today, I submitted a story. Here's an interesting thing that I don't know if anyone has mentioned or noticed, but I submitted a story from Ars Technica this morning, and I'm gone to look at the same story now, and it's showing as having been submitted by somebody else.
By who?
I don't know, Steven 3X.
Yeah. Oh, old Steven 3X. That guy will get you.
Careful,
No, but he likes porn.
No, but the point is that even as a submitter, when you submit a story, it can subsequently now be hijacked by somebody else for some reason. I don't know if that's a flaw, and here's another good point. I submitted a story this morning from the Drill Down by the Drill Down publisher account, and for the story for the show that we had on last night. And what I completely forgot about is that the Drill Down RSS feed is automatically fed through the Nightly Media publisher account. And so I went back to look at the story, and it's been hijacked by the Nightly Media feed. It shows that the Drill Down account never submitted it. It's been submitted by the Nightly Media account.
Perfect. No matter what, Patrick will find a way to. Anyway, that's beautiful. It's
How
funny.
about Digg.com getting submitted to itself? That was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Look at you got that on the page. You're looking at it now. Look at who submitted that.
How do you even find that?
Under
I guess you have to
click on comments.
Oh, hold on.
How do you find it?
How do you know? How can you determine this information? This is voodoo.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Voodoo.
The force is not strong with you, Ergo.
Oh, definitely not. No, no, absolutely. Let's get to some of the other points as well. Yes, there's perfect example. Who submits it? We don't know, and technically speaking, a submitter is no longer of any importance whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly.
There is it doesn't matter a submission, a dig, if you submit a story if you find an absolute tremendous piece of content and you submit it, let's say Andy Sorsini and MrBabyMan with the old Digg were to submit that story 3 days ago, then it would get exposure based upon that. Based upon the fact that he was considered by many to be a caretaker, a gatekeeper, a whatever trendsetter, or whatever you want to call it. He has vetted many stories, and people like the stories for the most part that he submits. He has done that, and he has achieved this based upon his years of service, so to speak, to the site, and also he's received a certain level of quote unquote fame, internet fame based upon that. Now, at this point, it doesn't matter whether he digs it or submits it. He could pick a story from 45 days ago and push the dig button, and it'll say it's already been submitted. He could still push the dig button again, and now he has dug it, and that gets blasted out to his 20,000 fans. This is all good. This sounds good in theory, doesn't it? Except it doesn't, because now you've taken away the ability to truly highlight a particular story. The only way that you can at this point is to, let's face it. Either you need to be a Mashable or a TechCrunch or a New York Times,
a big publisher.
A big publisher, or you need to hop on IM and start spamming the crap out of people. Those are the two options currently. Okay, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being facetious. I'm not blowing this out of proportion. You cannot get a story to the front page or to the top news section of Digg based upon its merits without either being a super special publisher or by having by IM spamming it out to the world. Those are the only two options. Now you can say, hold on, Rick. Well, let me finish one last part. I know I've been, you guys haven't given me much opportunity to talk tonight, and I'm very offended by that. So, sorry, that was a joke. It was a funny one for Amy. No, yeah, it was. It wasn't funny at all. So the other option is that the piece of content is something super spectacular, which is fine. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but a good quality piece of content will not hit without one of those two criteria. Breaking news, something super, Steve Jobs marries Bill Gates. That's a story that anybody could submit, and it will hit the front page. But
that already happened.
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, we're prepared for that.
That's not news.
It's news to me. When did that happen? I thought I was the only one who knew about it. Aaron, what were you going to say? By the way, that is PeterCoffin. For those who don't know, Peter will be our guest for the full-on Social Blade show starting at 7 o'clock tonight. Peter is a superstar on a different social media site. He is the equivalent of the MrBabyMan or the Oh Boy of the number 3 site on the internet. And no, it's not YouTube, but we'll get to that We'll get to that soon.
Not like I'm somebody on some other site. I was unaware of that.
No, you're on Yahoo too.
Are you serious? What are you talking about?
No, I lost myself long ago. Let's cut to Aaron. Stop embarrassing myself, Rucker. Shut up and let somebody else talk. Note to self.
My question to you guys would be, on a personal level, how does it feel? I mean, to lose that kind of status, trying to build yourself up on this site, and now it's kind of just crumbled in front of you without really being able to have much of a say. So how does it feel for the top diggers of the world?
And don't hold back any punches, Aaron. Tell it how it is.
Please. Dig us.
What if you just don't even have a feeling because you don't even know what to feel?
What if you're numb?
I'm just numb. I don't know what
Where's
to do.
Amy? We need Amy on this. I need her opinion because she'll share feelings.
No, because she'll go R-rated on us in a heart.
Yeah, exactly.
She'll
Amy's
be like,
like, cannon, especially if she's got wine.
Oh.
I would say, like Jordan says, Jordan 117, it's such a slap in the face. Thousands of comments on this site only to have them all deleted without warning.
Yeah.
That is kind of, that's offensive. Also, like losing your status. I mean, that was kind of the point of playing the dig game,
Yeah, it's all gone.
I would feel hurt. Amy, share your feelings with us. Some emotion.
Digger.
Dig up. Please, dig up.
The thing is, I've tried very hard to give them the benefit of the doubt and to not be like all the people every time Facebook changes to be, the bring back the old Facebook. I really don't want to be one of those people, but I go on there and I look at it, and this is the thing that I think is insulting. Is when you're in an alpha, you're supposed to be making changes according to feedback. No, it doesn't mean that you have to make every change that your alpha testers suggest. But the idea is that you're making changes according to feedback and problems that you find. There's not a single change that was made in the alpha. They launched the alpha deciding this is what it was going to be. I think that they did it this way so they could transition over everybody from the old Digg slowly, and they could add all the publisher accounts so that they would be there for the official launch, so that it wouldn't seem like a whole mess of a changeover. And they never had any intention of making any changes. That's why they didn't move from alpha to beta. And I really, truly, honestly think that they did not mean to launch yesterday.
Okay, so
an accident that they launched yesterday?
No, this is what I think, and it's the only thing that actually makes any sense, is that I think that when Kevin tweeted that out, that either he was joking or
he was thinking it was going to happen this weekend,
or he was confused or whatever. And I don't know. I don't know what he was, honestly, I don't know what he was thinking when he tweeted that out. And then they were all like, oh my God, what do we do now? And he's like, well, launch. And they're like, okay. because
launch Digg through tube 1.
Because it just, seriously, and I know that sounds kind of insane, but it's the only thing that actually makes any sense.
I know they had an emergency moment there where they said, Kevin calls up one of the guys, hey, can you run down to Dell and pick us up 30 servers real quick?
You're being quite the apologists.
It makes as much sense as Digg does right now. So,
we are looking at it through a glass that is very, very one-sided. I just want to throw this out there real quick.
I don't even know what that means.
So it's a rectangular glass.
Yes, there's only one actual side to the glass. There's zero thickness. And the cake is sliced in the. I heard a funny joke today.
You're putting cake in glasses.
Oh my God! Okay,
yes,
no,
tell me about
forget
that.
about the joke.
The joke is
Are
good.
they bacon room?
The joke is great. It was great because it fit perfectly and it was not intended as a joke. So
that makes it very good.
Yes, I contacted a writer of a website, and I said, hey man, your site it hit the front page of Digg today, and normally, if you all recall, when you'd get these new publishers who would hit the front page of Digg, oh man, I hope my site doesn't go down as a result. And this guy, deadpan, just absolutely completely serious. I said, hey man, your site just hit the front page of Digg. He said, oh man, I hope Digg's able to stay up.
Reverse
That's
Digg.
funny. That's very good.
And he was completely serious, and that is the state of Digg today. Panda or Mohan, are you with us?
Yes.
Someone said to me, like, your story hit the front page, and I said, really, it did? And then I had to like skim through like three more stories to even find it, and I had no idea that it even hit the front page.
Because it wasn't there. It came on 8 hours after that.
Yeah. Well, no, it was there at the time. I mean, but of course, it was something that was submitted before the switchover anyway. But
well, we have also joining us is another prolific digger. So basically, right now, between if you were to go with the old Digg, we would have a lot of Digg power in this room. And right now, we're talking to 4 people that have no power anymore at all.
This is the new Digg. There's no power at all.
Lieutenant General Panda, Mohan, good friend of ours. Mohan, how are you doing?
I'm doing very good. And I think, you know what? We guys are taking it too serious because the Digg CEO, Kevin Rose, is busy tweeting about the new Kindle which got delivered yesterday to him. Yesterday evening, he's tweeting about his new Kindle, and we are seriously talking about Digg.
No, that's because we care. No, that's not to say that he doesn't care. I'm going to there right now.
No biggie. Look at that,
guys. He's defensive right now. Okay, he's the one that tweeted out. Somebody said,
"No. You know what,
dude? Do you know what he just tweeted back at Moo? He goes, "No worries. We always get mixed feedback with every release. No biggie."
That's not a mixed feedback there. That's the thing.
Well, he got a positive review. He did get a positive story on CNN. Today, one that basically told everybody to shut up and that this is all good. Of course, it was written by Pete Cashmore, saying there's nothing wrong with the new Digg. We love it. You should all love the new Digg. Follow us, digg.com/Mashable.
Oh
my God!
Someone thinks that we're taking it too seriously.
Huh?
Or people are taking it too seriously.
No. What I mean by serious is we are spending the time and at least talking about it while he's playing his new Kindle.
This is great.
It's a joke.
I think that there is something we can do if we're talking about it or making like a big fuss. I mean, a lot of things changed on Facebook when people were speaking about it. I think our voices are very important when it comes to social media, and we're the ones that are using Digg. So I think that it's important to talk about it if there's a big, huge change like this that's affecting, what people have put time and effort into. Don't you think?
The time and effort. Before I get offended, hold on, wait, Mohan. I'm going to speak real quick on this one because that part will actually offend me. This is an absolute and total slap in the face. It's not like they said, okay, thank you for your contributions in the past. We're going to give you access to all of this stuff. We bought diggclassic.com for you to relive your glory days or to look at all your comments that you've made. I mean, there are people that have made 10,000 comments on the site, and those comments are in oblivion. Any interaction, any engagement, anything that you've done, any thousands and thousands of hours that you have spent on Digg over the years is completely and utterly 100% totally erased, gone. Okay, so don't tell me that they will listen to anybody. Don't tell me that they care about anyone in this room, anyone on this call right now, anyone who's been using Digg for any period of time has basically been shoved aside for corporate interests. We've been replaced, despite all of our efforts, we've been replaced by the Wall Street Journal, by Pete Cashmore, by Michael Arrington, by the people who they get to dictate the news. They get to tell the world what is big and what is important and what is happening. Because, guys, they've already got
I need to interrupt you. The Wall Street Journal can't muster up enough digs at the front page. So there's...
That's right.
But I don't think that's what's going to work. I don't think that these big corporations are going to make it the Digg that they want Digg to be. And the thing is that users, their time and effort, and I know it feels like a big slap in the face, but I mean, with Facebook's privacy issues, they didn't seem to care about us at all. And once people started writing about it and talking about it and letting their voices be heard and things stepping in and things like that, then it was like they made the changes.
Yeah,
but
you know what?
Our voices matter at all?
But do you know
No,
what,
they
Aaron?
don't.
Like in the past, when things have happened and when they took away shouts, when they took away all social elements from the site before, and there were all these complaints, Digg basically just like lifted a big middle finger at its users and did not care.
And perhaps
this happened before.
It wasn't the users,
Aaron.
Aaron.
Thus far?
Now that finger's turned into a fist and it's been inserted.
Now they just give us an ox.
Now they give us an ox.
I'm trying
to
get
your ox.
Sell
your ox. No, the big difference, the reason that with the Facebook changes, Facebook, let's not be confused here. Facebook did not care about the people, about the users, about any of those people. They cared about the publicity, the negative publicity they got from mainstream media. Guess what? Digg's not going to get any negative publicity from mainstream media because mainstream media just freaking bought them.
Yeah.
Okay? We're lucky that we got. I am so impressed with Read Write Web. Okay, Read Write Web. Chris Cameron, a good friend of ours. Our good friend, I can't remember his name, Richard McManus, and Marshall Kirkpatrick, their whole team over there, they've actually come out there, and they're the only ones in quote unquote mainstream, or at least high volume media, who have come out and said, Digg users are angry. There's a story, revolt, angry Digg users want their baby back. And that just in itself is a very bold statement. Keep in mind, the biggest story to hit on the new Digg was a Read Write Web story submitted by Read Write Web about the new Digg launching. And that was the first story that went up that was a non-old story that actually made it to the front page. I'm very impressed with them. Nobody else is going to say it. The next web has come out, very, very good of them. Center Networks came out. Social Blade is going to come out. There are going to be smaller publications that are going to come out and say that this new Digg is challenged. There are problems with it, and these problems need to be addressed. Everyone else, New York Times, CNN, Mashable, TechCrunch, the whole rest of the freaking world that gets anyone who gets basically 1 million plus unique visitors a month, basically any big publications, anyone in the top say 400 on Alexa. They love this. This is their dream. And it's like, oh my gosh, now CNN can start getting traffic from Digg when CNN was getting less traffic than Mint.com or Left Lane News or any of these other sites out there that are smaller that were basically making a living off of Digg. They're exposing their content based upon, not because they were huge, not because they were big huge publishers, but because they had great content. And this content was liked by the Digg community. The Digg community will not see that content very much anymore, at least unless changes are made.
And JD, we've been running a poll in here, and it looks like the vast majority of people, the poll was, do you feel lost with the new Digg? The vast majority of people, about 73%, 72% say, yes, bring the old Digg back. We must have 3 people from Mashable or Kevin Rose or something like that, because we got 3 votes. About 6% say that, no, I love the new Digg.
All right, who voted that way?
We also have
just give us their names. No, just kidding.
For control, we have about 15% that are unsure still. 7 people said that, and 3 people said, what's Digg? 6%.
Well, and exactly. So things are going to change. I mean, we're just in the very early stages of this. Okay, this is we are in the transition period. We'll get to see a lot more once we're past this section. As we speak, literally right now, as we speak, the threshold is working its way down. Up until about 4 hours ago, no story had hit the front page without having at least 200 digs. Then it dropped down to 190. Then it dropped down to 180. 170, 160. Now we're down to the 130s. And this is where we get into the idea, and I want to be very clear here when I say that you need to be either a big publisher or you need to be a spammer. Not spammer. I'm not saying that if you I shouldn't say if you IM stories, it doesn't make you a spammer, but you have but to just sit there, submit a story, and let it go on its own merits, unless the story is just absolutely killer, it's not going to make it. You have to be proactive and get people to dig your story to even have a chance. We haven't yet, and I say that as of now to keep in mind, no story submitted from the new Digg has hit, except for the 2 that I mentioned earlier that were about the new Digg. No other stories hit the front page as of this point, 36 hours after the initial launch of the new Digg. So
But the new Digg's come in tomorrow, so we're good.
Yeah, the new Dig will be here tomorrow, according to 2 of the stories that are on the front page right now. Mohan, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were on a roll before Aaron interrupted me, interrupting you, interrupting me. So go ahead.
No, Kevin Rose's last tweet yesterday night was that they have 1 million users, active users on V4, version 4. If they really had 1 million users, and even if 1/10 of them had dug these top stories on the right side, every story should have at least 2,000 digs. Clearly, like, he's just putting up a huge number just for his investors, and I think the media is just publishing all those numbers.
What? I would not doubt that they had a million visitors to the site last night.
Oh,
that would not be a surprise.
Not million visitors, million users. See that? Million
They did.
users.
What is he counting as a
Did
user?
Did they specify Dig users?
Well, you're just going to get a bunch of people who left the old Dig and are just coming back to the new Dig just to check it out and see what it's like. I mean, that's nothing more. I mean, those numbers are going to go down as in the months coming.
Exactly. And even if they had just logged in, they would have tested by placing a single dig. There's nowhere even a proof to see that there were even 100,000 logged in users yesterday. And and then they're like, they have overwhelming traffic. They're adding 30 servers. It's actually, they were not prepared. That's it. They thought their servers are going to do well, and then they weren't really doing well, and so they had to add servers. And they made it look like just like Twitter, today is a busy tweet day, and so we are adding servers. No, it was not like that.
Hey, what baby is on that screen right there? Do they want their baby or they want their baby man back?
Exactly. Any questions, Jeff, coming in from the audience so far?
Yeah, we got a couple. This one is from Bad Cat. This one's for Ergo. Ergo, how does the new API compare to the old API? Less or more?
Well, at the moment, the old API used to be up all the time. The new one, about 90% of the time, it seems like it's down. So I haven't really had a chance to play around with it much.
Actually, the new API, half of it has never worked, actually. You know that I've been trying it daily.
Yeah.
It has never worked. Half of it hasn't worked, and the support team is horrible. I have tried telling them so many times. To explain each bug to them takes about 4 messages, and unless 20 people tell the same bug, they won't even pay attention to it.
Yeah, Jay Lee J1337 in the chat room brings up a good point. Dig V4 blows. Has 235 digs and still doesn't hit the front page. If berries are gone, which they obviously are, houses not hit. There's another story out there that basically said Dig sucks or something like that has 1,000 digs and has never hit the front page. There's a lot of these that don't seem to. Basically, long story short, there are no berries.
Just
correct.
Hold on before you say that. Are you sure there's no berries? Because there is a hide story here, and this very well might still act like a berry. At least sending a message back to Dig.
You're just hiding it.
Well,
you're hiding it on your own.
Are you hiding it, or are you sending a message saying, I don't like this?
I think you're hiding it on your individual profile.
But
can you unhide it?
There's also a report button inside.
That's correct. There is a report also, but is for like spam or bad content.
Who knows? What's spam now?
So I just hid something there. What did that really do?
Keep in mind.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Dig Twitter earlier 24 hours ago tweeted, "Have you found comment or submission spam? Email us to notify us of any abuse or click report on any story link." Then 3 hours ago, they added another tweet that says, "Have you hidden anything today? Mouse over a story description on Dig to hide it from your view by clicking on the X that appears." To me, that leads me to believe that it literally is just two separate occurrences, that hiding a story is not something that is necessarily going to have a negative effect on the story's potential.
I don't know. I'm honestly not buying it. I mean, they've always had reporting. This is really technically for if it is abuse or spam or something like that.
Jason, I can assure you.
But hold on. For that type of thing, for abuse, that means a human has to actually look at it. But hitting the X tells the server, if it's working as like a standard berry type of thing, it would tell the server that you don't like it.
Right, but there are several stories that would have been easily buried off the front page, had that been the case. I mean, there are stories that. I mean,
what
if that was the way to do it, yeah, there's no way.
What if I'm going to hide the stories I read, like a email inbox? Every story I have read, I'm going to hide. What will you do? Then won't the system mistag it?
You got a good point there.
I think that they would specify in some way or some fashion that the hide had a negative effect. They wouldn't just call it a hide and let it happen. And there's also very, very little chance to me that every single story that's gotten over 50, 100, 200, 300, 1,000 digs that has had a negative opinion of the new dig, it would be very shocking to me if all of those were magically hidden so that those stories could not hit the front page. There has not been a negative story about Digg to hit the front page despite many, many submissions, and a lot of them getting a ton of digs. So I doubt that they're being hidden away. I think they're just being held, for whatever reason. And that's an accusation that may not be true. Maybe they just didn't get the algo right. They didn't get the diversity. They spammed it too much. They did something that didn't work out. But for some reason, those stories have not hit yet. Jeff, you said there were other questions?
Yeah, our next question comes from Wes, a.k.a. Ustreamer94824. He asked, what do you guys think of the Ajax pagination?
Ooh.
Oh.
What Ajax pagination?
That's just from a UI perspective, that's a polarizing question. I personally fall under the category of hating it. I know that a couple of people we talked to on the drill down last night said that they hate it. I've also heard people that say that it's awesome, that they love doing it like that. It makes things so much easier, especially on a mobile device. But Ergo can't hate it. Ergo.
Nah, I'm definitely on the opinion. I definitely do not like it. One of the biggest problems with this type of pagination is, what if you want to see news from 3 days ago? You got to go here and click down, load more, about 100 times before you can get that far back.
Right.
And it doesn't know whether it doesn't. Sometimes it will tell you there's nothing to load more, so you have to scroll all the way down, click down, and then again go up.
Yeah. I definitely do not like it at all.
Oh, while talking about the layout, if you guys try going to the Digg on the mobile phone, you will see that the sponsored tweets are not tagged as sponsored tweets. 2 times I saw an extremely low Digg story there. I was like, what is this story doing here? I click on it, boom, Digg gets.
Is it the Digg app?
No, the mobile Digg website on the browser.
So I'm loading it up.
Real quick, here. Why would they go to that pagination? What's the advantage?
Because Twitter did it.
Sounds about right.
He's not something I don't understand.
It's we laugh at that.
Twitter has it.
Okay, so here's a site that comes out there, and as soon as they start hitting, their formula for success was they go after publishers and celebrities. Okay, they start basically promoting these celebrities and these publications as recommended users. They changed their style to where you don't have to click through tons and tons of pages. All you have to do is have Ajax-based pagination that allows you to stay on a page and see the extended variations of this. You are presented with stories in your personalized feed based upon who you're following. Okay, now if you can say, and that is my description of Twitter. Or you can say, and that is my description of Digg, and you would be absolutely right. Kevin Rose, for those who don't know, Kevin Rose founded Pounce back in 2007, I believe 2006, 2007, somewhere around there. Pounce was a competitor for Twitter. This was well before Twitter was even big at all. And some say that Kevin actually basically shot Twitter up to the top by coming out himself. Once Pounce started doing poorly, and Twitter started emerging, he admitted, he's like, guys, I like, from a messaging perspective, I prefer Twitter. I like communicating on Twitter better. He's always loved Twitter. He created WeFollow, which is a fanboy site that's based upon Twitter. It's kind of like takes Twitter and let's rank and organize and don't get me wrong, I love the site. I shouldn't have ragged on it by saying fanboy site, but it really was. It's one of those things where either you're going to make money with something or you're doing it out of love and passion. I believe in this case, We Follow was an experiment in his love and passion for Twitter. He's always loved Twitter. I love Twitter, so we have that in common. But Kevin Rose has always loved Twitter, and as a result, yes, there's definitely distinctly some things, and it's not just that love from, I think, Kevin Rose himself. I think it's also, guys, look at what happened. Twitter was nowhere, then it exploded. Can we duplicate that same magic that they did a year ago? And so the concept, and keep in mind, this has been in the works for so long that this isn't something where it's like, Twitter succeeded with this back in, a year and a half ago. This is more like, man, Twitter's really starting to rock. We can do the same thing with Digg. And this is probably a year ago when they said this.
Yeah, but the difference is, instead of like inventing and doing, going down other avenues, new avenues, and innovating, they're just following. I mean, they're just following, and there's nothing new, there's nothing novel about it.
Well, look at Google Buzz.
Oh, that's
that's all you have to say.
That was creative. That was unique. Exactly.
Are you kidding me? It's the same thing.
Yes, I know.
Good. Glad
I was being sorry. We haven't had very much engagement. This is our first time. So right now, you guys are not only listening to this Digg version of the show. You're hearing Peter and me get to know each other's. We've already messed up 2 jokes together. He made a joke. I didn't get it. I made a joke. He didn't get it.
It's Digg-us.
It's Digg-us.
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 Don't say the other word.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Now we've fixed it. It's all better.
We're straight. What's up, my Digga? Okay, so
JD, talking about the pagination, the users on Twitter who have to use a pagination to go down so much, they use some other client. They don't really use the Twitter website. But then, Digg is not like that. That's where the main problem is. So just because Twitter was successful doesn't mean every Twitter user likes it. If I was a person who's going to read 500 tweets, I'm going to be using, Hootsuite or TweetDeck or something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We are about to start the actual Social Blade show. We did not get nearly as much accomplished as I had hoped. I already told Amy I could talk for 2 hours, and 2 hours probably would not have been enough in reality because we can talk for a long time. There are going to be next steps. There is going to be something. Again, the old vision, the vision that I think a lot of people have of trying to get the old Digg put back, it's gone. It's dead. It won't come back. Okay? I hope I'm wrong. But I'm not. It's gone. I mean, those servers are probably already recycled. All of the tens of thousands of hours that some of you avid Digg users have put into the site with commenting, digging, promoting, submitting, all that stuff. It's gone. So pretty much your work is done, dead, gone.
Can I
tip of 40 for Andy and Lieutenant General Panda, man.
Can I comment on that?
Yes, please.
So I'm not really as concerned or mournful over the death, and I'll say premature death of my my achievements on Digg. What really breaks my heart is that Digg was a terrific site for discovering great content, user-generated content that was curated by a group of fantastic individuals who, took the time and sought out and found great content and culled it from, separated the wheat from the chaff, and did the hard work, and they were always committed to promoting the best content, to submitting great content over poor content. And now with the new Digg, and it's not like they did not ask people. Like when they invited me up to check out Digg, the new Digg version alpha.
You mean the current version?
No, well, yeah, even
it was different.
Even before then, they asked me my opinion, and my initial concern upon seeing what they had to show was that it completely cuts out the curation aspect out of the site. There's no more user curation, and they seemed legitimately concerned that I had a good point. And I'm not going to say that they ignored me, but it seems like they deliberately chose not to implement.
Recognize your feedback.
Yeah, not to recognize what I had to say about that.
Well, as Amy said, yes. You know, they had Digg Alpha. They launched it to everybody. They asked for feedback. They received feedback by the tons, and then nothing was changed. I mean, to me, a lot of it is an example of here's the new Digg. Please let us know how you feel. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't, please let us know how you feel, and we'll try to address your concerns. It's, here's the new Digg. Please let us know how you feel, and then we'll launch it.
So, Andy, actually, this might be a good time for you to throw a new word out for JD. He likes that so much. Is there a way you sum up everything with a new word?
Yeah.
For JD, let's go research.
I'm going to say I think the new word is going to be obsolete.
Reddit?
Obsolete. Content curation is effectively obsolete on Digg. I mean, I'm going to say if you want the same level of content curation and involvement from a user-generated site, go to BuzzFeed, go to Reddit, go to
Stumble Upon.
Even Stumble Upon, yeah, absolutely. But content curation is effectively dead on Digg until or unless they make changes.
No, the curators. There are curators. The curators are the big sites. I mean,
no, yeah, but the big sites, right. So many of them have just their main RSS feed, or even if it's a subject, it's still everything in there. That's not curation. That is a link dump. That's a link dump.
Vomiting of content.
It's not. It is not curation. I didn't say that it is curation.
Well,
I said that they are the. I did not. I said that they are the curators.
So
okay, glad we got that.
Well, no, think about it.
I'm glad you cleared
curators,
that up,
the people who are think about what I'm saying. The people who are in charge before with the old Digg, the curators were the people who got stuff to the front page of Digg, right? These are the people that would vet a particular story, a particular submission, and make a decision as to whether or not this is something that they feel deserves their quote-unquote power, their time, their effort they put in over the years, the months, the time period as Panda, Amy, Louie, Jason, Andy have all done. You know, this power that you have to recognize good quality content and to get that onto the front page, to give that your nod, to put your stamp of approval. You know, something that has been, you were the curator as a result, and so you curated the stuff, and sometimes it would hit the front page. Now the curators are the publishers, which is like, you know, it's like the jailers being the inmates. You know, there is no the walls are wide open. Okay, I'm serious. I didn't say they were curating. They're not curating. They're auto submitting. Heck, I couldn't help a funny comment.
I was laughing at you saying the jailers being the inmates.
Yes, they are. The people that are running the jail are now the inmates, and I'm not saying that these are bad people that need to go to jail. What I'm saying is that before, you know, if Mashable posts a piece of content, Andy sees it, Andy looks at it, reads it, decides, is this something that I think needs to be on the front page of Digg? Yes, I do. He gives his stamp of approval, and that particular story is quote-unquote let out of jail, or as Andy says, you know, given its wings, so to speak. So that's not the case anymore. Now, the people who are in charge of just picking the content that will get the attention are the same people that are creating the content. Period.
Are the same people who had no idea how to get their stories to the front page of Digg in the first place.
Exactly. Andy, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Okay? Yeah. And I want an honest opinion. I want real, you know, stare into the, well, we can't see your image. I want to ask you this.
Look into my baby eyes.
Look into my baby eyes. We're going to ask the baby man. Andy, how many stories have you created that you have promoted yourself to the front page of Digg?
I would say I can't even count them on one hand.
There's that many.
Yeah. That I have created that are my own content that I.
Right. So out of 4,500, so you're saying that out of 4,500 front page stories, you created under 10. Okay, less than 5 of them. Of those 4,500 front page stories, how much have you personally made? I mean, how much money or how many T-shirts?
Well, that pop ratio is terrible, by the way, Andy.
Yeah, only 4,500. So out of those 4,500 front page stories, the stories that you promoted, that you drove hundreds of millions of visitors to, out of all those different stories, how much money did you make? I mean, how much did they pay you? Like a individual, just an estimate, a rough estimate. How much money did you make off of Digg?
Digg?
Or
no.
People, I'm saying, how much money did you make as a result of your status on Digg? Getting front pages for people, how much money and or some kind of whatever it is, how much?
No one has ever paid me to submit anything to Digg.
Okay, so then why in the world would you have that many stories submitted? Why in the world would you if you don't promote your own work and you don't promote and you don't make money off of it, then why would you do it? Why would you expose so many eyeballs to these particular stories?
I mean, it's always been about the content. It's always been about the content, and that is why I weep for Digg right now. It's because it's for me, it's always been about finding great content and being able to share it with as many people as possible. And
have you ever been offered money?
What's that?
Yeah, and not having a girlfriend. Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you ever been offered money or
all the time?
Okay.
All the time.
You've been off, and people have tried. You do have your own content that you create. So you didn't have it. Have you ever seen? Two final questions. Have you ever seen Gladiator the movie?
Jimmy, do you like Gladiator movies? Yeah.
You have seen Gladiator. Yeah. Why did the Emperor want Maximus to be the protector of Rome? The answer is
because he cared about the people.
Because he didn't want to. He didn't want the fame, the power, the glory, all of that good stuff. He did it because Amy, stop laughing at me. He did it because he was good at it, or he didn't want to do it necessarily. He wasn't going to be the abuser. He would be able to take that power and wield it and utilize that power to do what was best for both the city, the country, the empire, and the people within it. That's why he was selected over Commodus. Commodus, on the other hand, had his own personal endeavors in mind. And I'm not trying to compare Pete Cashmore or any of these other people. I'm not trying to compare them to Commodus, the evil guy that wanted to have sex with his sister. I'm just saying that they have an interest.
Why not? Why aren't you comparing him to him?
I'm not. Pete Cashmore is a very...
I said why aren't you? Why not?
Because I wouldn't make that kind of analogy. This is a PG-13 show here. Now the
but you just described in graphic detail the bad guy, and then was like, "But I'm not saying that."
I know, but I wouldn't.
Somehow this conversation.
You wanted to make the association.
The association was definitely somehow along the line distorted for me, saying that Commodus is like Pete Cashmore. No, bottom line is this. Is that Andy was good at it, Louie was good at it, these people were good at it because the interest wasn't necessarily there. Yes, people have promoted their own sites. I promoted my own sites. Louie has promoted his own sites. But Louie, how many times have you submitted stories that weren't on your own site? How many of them? 1,400? I mean, out of 1,400 front pages, your own site has gotten what, maybe 20, 30?
Yeah, 30 tops.
30 tops. Out of 1,400 front pages. The rest of them, many of them getting thousands of digs. Amy, how many times has AmyVernon.net hit the front page of Digg?
Never. Okay,
how many times has any site that you let me ask a better question. What percentage of stories that you have promoted, and you promoted almost right around 1,000 stories, what percentage of those stories did you have a vested interest in? Whether it was your own writing, your own site, you were doing it for a friend, whatever.
Well, I mean, I often submitted for friends and whether they were, other diggers who I swapped with or, friends. Like just the other day, I submitted one that a friend of mine from summer camp from when I was a teenager wrote, and he didn't even know I subbed it. I just saw it, and so I subbed it, to give him some traffic. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what percentage, because there's been a lot of things like that, or
Let me ask you: do you often submit stories that have nothing to do with any gain that you make?
Yeah.
Ergo.
Yes.
Ergo, you have 76% of your submissions hit the front page, correct?
It's roughly right, yeah.
How many stories have you, and for those who don't know, Ergo's big into videos, how many stories, videos, or anything else have you had a personal vested interest in?
Probably a couple, but definitely not most of them there.
Yeah, definitely not in the hundreds, which you have stories in the hundreds. Now, nobody asked me that same question. Point I'm trying to make, though, is that...
okay, JD, what percentage...
The point I'm trying to make is that Leo Laporte has a story that's probably going to hit the front page. Okay? Leo Laporte submitted a story about Leo Laporte. Okay? It was about Leo Laporte.
Was it a scathing expose?
It was a lot of nude pictures of him, and I think it's going to pop for that very reason. He's a very sexy man. But no, but
scathing expose on you.
Exactly. Mashable has submitted several stories and dug several stories, dozens of stories as a matter of fact. Why? Because they post dozens of stories a day. Have they done anything else? Have they dug anybody else's stories at all? Have they done any content curation whatsoever other than their own curation? No, they're promoting. They're sending their 30,000 people that are following Mashable are getting to see everything that Mashable prints. There is no curation. I know I'm hammering this point for like 8 or 9 minutes longer than I should have, and I know we got stuck on all comments thing.
Well, this kind of goes in the same line as a question that I just received from Sonny who says, why are publishers like Reddit on the new Digg allowed to sub 4,000 plus stories on the first day? Well, shouldn't they be given a cap limit?
Oh no, of course not, because then what? They are publishers. The new Digg needs publishers. Wall Street Journal, some way somehow, having the Wall Street Journal or Reddit or New York Times have an account on Digg is going to result in Digg being a better site. Deep down, Kevin Rose and his crew believe this. They believe that Digg will be able to be more financially stable and be able to offer better content if they allow for RSS auto submissions from sites like Reddit, which they recommend. I mean, here's their number one competitor who has actively demonstrated hatred towards them, and they're allowed to auto submit and generate thousands of fans. Wall Street Journal, Time.com, all these major publications. Mainstream has taken over Digg. We will see the negative results, and I think we need to pretty close to end it right there. And I know this turned into just me babbling a lot, but I want to say this. One of the purposes of bringing everybody together is to state that I do not, despite me telling Aaron earlier that Digg won't care, I think there is a way to make Digg care. I think that there are certain steps that can be taken, because one thing is true, that when Digg is in the wrong, and they can be shown that they were in the wrong, that in many cases, whether it was HD DVD, whether it was the second Digg revolt that Kevin and Jay so kindly came on during the drill down a year and a half ago to meet our concerns, they have always been at least open to it. I don't think that'll be the case this time, but I would be remiss, and we would all be remiss, if we didn't at least try. If we have a desire to extend a quote-unquote revolt, or to at least let ourselves be heard beyond just the occasional blog post, beyond the hate tweets, beyond just posting negative comments about the new Digg. All of that is one thing. True, full action is another thing, and that's what I'd like to propose at some point. So more on that later. To find out more, you be free. You'll learn at least where this action will be taking place at socialblade.com/show over the next day or two. I'd like to get some more data as far as what actually happens after this weird period, after this transitional period that they're going through. But in the meantime, everyone, please contact me. Feel free to contact me here at Social Blade, and I will be happy to get you involved.
I do have I do have there's a Grease Monkey script that you can install that makes Reddit look like Digg. And it's actually really awesome, because you go. I was on it. I installed it because I was just really curious, and I went on it, and I actually got confused for a minute, like, was I on Digg or on Reddit?
Wow.
And yeah,
Old Digg, right?
And I was just like, wow, like, that's cool.
I'd make the argument that having everything like this won't work anyway, because I've digged a lot of my own content and not one of them has ever done anything. So
that's the other reason, by the way, that
it's called it's called Reddit, Dig it.
Reddit, Dig it. Got it.
Yeah.
Peter, one of the things, you know, we can I want to state what I said in the beginning. I don't know if you missed it. Digg needed to change desperately, dramatically, just from a straight up business perspective. Digg had to change. They were dying. Okay, they weren't making the money and they had no future. And that aspect that you're describing, the aspect that you're describing, is absolutely one of the things that needed to change. But they haven't done anything to give more power to the people. They've taken the power that was already unevenly distributed to power users and given all of it over to the publishers.
Well, that's my point, is the people that are digging, like, if it is a publisher digging something, people don't think of it as the same thing as somebody who likes something digging it. It's different. People will know that it's different, too. When they see that it was dug by yada yada, it came from whoever, it's going to be looked at as different by everyone. Not just by you and not just by me, but by everyone. And I would have to say that I would think it's less likely to garner the same type of traffic as in the first place.
Sure. That also definitely remains to be seen. We did have a couple of stories trackable that were on the front page. We're looking at the traffic now, and there's a difference. There's distinctly a difference in traffic, but that's a whole other case study that is separate from the Digg revolt. I
say give them a couple months. Give them a couple months. I'd say numbers will speak much louder than anything anybody could say about it.
Oh, I agree. But the problem there is that in a couple months, in my contention, and if you look at the story itself that I'm working on, that this whole show was supposed to be used to gather information and quotes, the real problems with Digg have yet to surface. At the end of the day, if Digg waits 2 months before it initiates certain changes, then it won't be here in 4 months. I'm being dead serious. So we personally can't wait for the data. We can't say here's what you should do and then wait, and as it starts to fail, say we told you so. You know, it can't be like that. I mean, Digg has this is going to avalanche and make it to where, I mean, I don't want to get into it at this point. We're already way over on time. Any closing thoughts from? Well, let's start with Ergo.
Closing thoughts. I mean, I think we've covered it pretty well here. There's a number of items that I think they can recover at least somewhat if they can fix at least the top items, such as the pagination, when story, timestamps on when stories are displayed, categories, and things like that. But in general, if they do leave it like this and don't fix these things, I don't see it lasting.
It's called BuzzFeed.
Exactly. Aaron? Aaron?
R.I.P. Digg.
R.I.P. Digg. Closing statement. Yeah, but it's been dead to you for weeks now. Jeff?
What's Digg?
Oh, you were that one that voted that, huh?
Yeah, I was.
There we go. There we go.
We'll have to put a tombstone for Digg itself in the Digg graveyard here on Social Blade.
Exactly. Perfect. Peter?
Yeah. Then my last thought was it's called BuzzFeed.
BuzzFeed it is.
I
Amy?
like BuzzFeed.
I like BuzzFeed too a lot. Amy?
I don't know. I don't even know what to say anymore.
Louie?
It's just sad.
Let the games begin again.
Louie's like, where is that?
About that?
Louie's looking through his computer. Louie's looking through his computer. He's like, I know I didn't uninstall G-Talk. It's got to be somewhere here. Damn it.
Oh my God, I got more IMs today than I've gotten in such a long time. Of course, it's because I've only started going on IM again recently, but...
That was fail.
I know. Mohan?
I have not made a single dig since the new one rolled out.
Speaking of which, can you dig one of my stories? I'll send you a link. Andy?
I'm going to say, just one thing. Make your users content curators again, or the site, if not dead, will be worthless.
It'll be the
Well, I say-
MySpace of curation.
Oh yeah, I mean MySpace. Yeah, I mean this feels.
That's what it's going to be. It's still there, but it no one
exists.
uses it.
No one uses it. Oh gosh, this terrifies me. I mean, I am not almost in tears, but at least you
you will be later.
I am theoretically almost in tears, and there's so many easy fixes that can be made to make this work. Kevin, please, if you guys
money though,
call me. I mean, I can show you how to make money and have a good dig. They never call me. I always offer and they never do.
They never call me either.
I know. Well, Peter, I'll call you later.
What are you talking about? I have Kevin on speed dial.
Yeah, but you don't give them any good advice. You call, they call. They're going to call and they're going to say, okay, Ergo, you get to change one thing and one thing about the new dig, and you're the one that gets to do it. And he'll say, well, I've thought about it, and it's the pagination. And so we'll get the pagination fixed and everything else.
You're way too into pageants.
Oh, he's Ergo had a pageant experience, but we won't get into that. So thank you all for joining us. Please stick around. This is not the end of the show. This is the end of the Dig portion of the show, the next portion. And we'll actually probably still talk at least a little bit about Dig because I can't stop talking because I've only had an hour to talk and I just can't talk fast enough to make it all happen. But anyway, we will...
How much coffee have you had, JD?
No, not enough. I actually need to drink more. Hold on, let me grab some.
No.
So yeah, thank you all for joining us. This has been the special edition, the Dig pre-revolt planning edition that I didn't tell anybody what we were going to name it, but that's what I'm naming it now. Pre-revolt planning at socialblade.com. Dig's going to love us. Thank you all for joining us, and stick around because we will be right back on the air in about probably 45 seconds. 2 minutes. Yeah, just enough time for Jeff to go pee, and then we'll be back. Thank you all.